Boyfriend hanging out with his ex-girlfriend. What do I do? It all started when I was scrolling through Instagram, mindlessly flipping through stories, feeling that odd mix of boredom and curiosity that social media usually brings. I saw my boyfriend's friend had posted several stories of them out watching the football. My boyfriend, Jake, and I have been together for about 7 months now, but our history goes way back. We actually dated when we were 15, and then life happened, and we drifted apart. He dated someone else after me, a girl named Sarah who, let me tell you, hated my guts for reasons I still can't fully comprehend. She was mean to me, spreading rumors and making high school more hellish than it already was. They broke up about 2 years ago, and since then, I had also been in another relationship that eventually fizzled out. When Jake and I reconnected last year, it felt like a twist of fate, a rekindling of something pure and sweet from our youth. Fast forward to now, Jake was out with his friends enjoying a night of football, which I was totally fine with. I'm not the clingy type, and I trust him completely. But as I watched those Instagram stories, my heart sank. There she was, Sarah, dancing and celebrating with Jake, looking like they were having the time of their lives. The sight of them so close, laughing, and seemingly so comfortable with each other, felt like a punch in the gut. This was the girl who had gone out of her way to make my life miserable, and here she was, seemingly having a great time with my boyfriend. It didn't add up. Jake had always told me how much he disliked her, how he couldn't stand to be around her, and yet there they were, dancing and celebrating together. I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. It wasn't about me being insecure or not trusting Jake. It was the fact that it was her, the girl who had been so horrible to me. I felt like my past was coming back to haunt me in the most unexpected and painful way. The memories of Sarah's cruel words and actions resurfaced, making my chest tighten with a mix of anger and hurt. I replayed the videos over and over, hoping I was misinterpreting what I was seeing, but the more I watched, the more upset I became. It wasn't just a casual interaction, they looked genuinely happy and connected. I couldn't understand why Jake would put himself in that position, knowing how much it would hurt me. Later that night, Jake came home, and I could tell he was still riding the high from the game. He was buzzing with excitement, talking about the match and how great the night had been. I tried to keep my cool, but I couldn't hold it in any longer. I asked him how his night was, trying to sound casual, but I could hear the tremor in my voice. He went on about the game, the goals, and the atmosphere, completely oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore and blurted out, "So, you were with Sarah tonight?" The name hung in the air like a dark cloud, and I saw his face change. He paused for a moment, then nodded. "Yeah, she was there. We were all just celebrating, you know. Nothing serious." His casual tone made it worse. He didn't seem to grasp the significance of what I was feeling. "Nothing serious," I echoed, my voice rising. "Jake, you know what she put me through. You know how horrible she was to me. And you're out there dancing with her like it's no big deal." He looked taken aback by my reaction, his excitement from the night fading. "I didn't think it was a big deal," he said slowly. "She's part of the same friend group. It's not like I can just ignore her. But you told me you couldn't stand her," I retorted, feeling the tears welling up. "You said you disliked her so much. And now you're dancing with her. It's like a kick in the teeth." "Jake," he sighed, running a hand through his hair, clearly struggling to find the right words. "Look, I get that you don't like her, and I understand why. But it's been years. People change. She hasn't done anything to me, and I was just trying to have a good time with my friends." His words felt like a dismissal of my feelings, like he was brushing off the pain and history I had with Sarah. I felt a wave of frustration and sadness wash over me. "It's not about her changing or not doing anything to you. It's about what she did to me and how seeing you with her makes me feel. It hurts, Jake. It really hurts." He reached out to me, but I pulled away, not ready to be comforted just yet. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just caught up in the moment. I didn't think about how it would affect you." The sincerity in his voice made me want to believe him, but the wound was still too fresh. "I just need some time to process this," I said, my voice trembling. "I need to understand why this happened and how we can move forward from here." Jake nodded, his eyes filled with regret. "Take all the time you need," he said quietly. "I'm here when you're ready to talk." That night, as I lay in bed, my mind was a whirlwind of emotions. I replayed our conversation, trying to make sense of it all. I loved Jake, but this felt like a betrayal. I needed to understand why he would put himself in a situation that he knew would hurt me so deeply. Was it really just about having a good time, or was there something more? Over the next few days, I found myself oscillating between anger and sadness. I wanted to confront Sarah, to ask her why she was even there, but I knew it wouldn't help. This was about Jake and me, and we needed to figure it out together. I started writing down my feelings, trying to make sense of the jumble of emotions inside me. It helped, but it also brought everything to the surface, making it harder to ignore the pain. Finally, after a few days of avoiding the topic, I decided it was time to talk to Jake again. We needed to clear the air, to understand each other's perspectives. I couldn't let this fester and create a rift between us. We sat down in the living room, the tension palpable. "I've been thinking a lot," I began, taking a deep breath. "I love you, Jake, and I trust you, but this whole thing with Sarah really shook me. I need to understand why you didn't think it would affect me." Jake looked at me, his eyes full of remorse. "I guess I just didn't think. I was caught up in the moment, and I didn't consider how it would make you feel. I'm really sorry for that, but you knew how much she hurt me," I said, my voice breaking. "You knew how I felt about her." "I know," he said, his voice filled with regret. "And I'm sorry. I should have been more considerate. I should have thought about how it would impact you. I didn't mean to cause you pain." Hearing his apology, I felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe we could get through this. "I need you to understand that seeing you with her brought back all those horrible memories," I said softly. "It made me feel like you didn't care about what I went through." "I do care," he insisted. "I care about you more than anything. I never want to hurt you. I promise to be more mindful in the future. Your feelings are important to me." His words brought a sense of relief, but I knew it would take time to fully heal. "Thank you for saying that," I said, feeling a bit lighter. "I need to know that we're on the same page, that you understand why this hurt me so much." "I do," he said earnestly. "And I'll do everything I can to make it right. I don't want to lose you over this." We talked for hours, discussing our feelings, our fears, and our hopes for the future. It wasn't an easy conversation, but it was necessary. We both needed to understand each other's perspectives and find a way to move forward. As the night wore on, I felt a sense of closure starting to form. We still had a long way to go, but we were taking the first steps toward healing. It wouldn't be easy, and there would be more difficult conversations ahead, but I was willing to fight for our relationship. I loved Jake, and I believed in us. In the days that followed, we continued to work through our issues, rebuilding trust and understanding. It wasn't a quick fix, but we were committed to each other and to making things right. Through it all, I learned the importance of communication and honesty, of being open about my feelings and listening to his. It was a hard lesson, but one that ultimately made us stronger. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it was worth fighting for. And in the end, that was all that mattered. The days turned into weeks, and I found myself still grappling with the emotions that Sarah's presence had stirred up. Every time Jake went out with his friends, a knot of anxiety formed in my stomach. I trusted him, but the fear of another encounter with Sarah lingered in the back of my mind. It was a struggle to keep those feelings at bay, to not let them overshadow the progress we had made. Jake was patient and understanding, always reassuring me of his love and commitment. He went out of his way to show me how much he cared, planning special dates and surprising me with little gestures of affection. But the wound was still there, healing slowly but surely. One evening, we decided to have a quiet night in. We ordered our favorite takeout, curled up on the couch, and put on a movie. As the credits rolled, Jake turned to me, his expression serious. "I've been thinking a lot about what happened," he said, taking my hand in his. "I want to make sure you never feel that way again." I looked at him, curiosity and hope mingling in my heart. "What do you mean?" "I want us to be completely open with each other," he continued. "No more surprises, no more misunderstandings. If something bothers either of us, we talk about it right away. I don't want to lose you, and I don't want you to ever feel hurt like that again." His words touched me deeply. It was exactly what I needed to hear. I want that too, I said, squeezing his hand. I love you, Jake, and I want us to be stronger together. From that moment on, we made a pact to always communicate openly and honestly. It wasn't easy at first. There were times when I struggled to voice my feelings, afraid of being vulnerable. But Jake was patient, always encouraging me to share my thoughts and emotions. And in turn, he opened up to me, sharing his own fears and insecurities. It brought us closer together, creating a deeper bond than we had ever had before. Months passed, and the memories of that night with Sarah began to fade. They were still there, but they no longer held the same power over me. Jake and I had built something strong, something that could withstand the challenges that came our way. One day, as we were walking through the park, Jake stopped suddenly and turned to me. I've been thinking, he said, a smile playing on his lips. I want us to take the next step. I want us to move in together. The idea filled me with excitement and a touch of nervousness. It was a big step, but it felt right. I'd love that, I replied, my heart swelling with happiness. Let's do it. We spent the next few months searching for the perfect place, eventually finding a cozy apartment that felt like home from the moment we stepped inside. Moving in together was an adventure, full of laughter, compromises, and shared dreams. It wasn't always easy, but we navigated the challenges with the same openness and honesty that had become the foundation of our relationship. Living together brought us even closer, deepening our connection and strengthening our love. We created a space that was uniquely ours, filled with memories and moments that we cherished. And through it all, the shadow of Sarah and the pain she had caused continued to fade, replaced by the warmth and happiness that Jake and I shared. Looking back on everything we had been through, I realized how much we had grown. The challenges we faced had only made us stronger, teaching us the importance of communication, trust, and unconditional love. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it was ours. And that was all that mattered. As we continued to build our life together, I knew that there would be more challenges ahead. But I also knew that we would face them together, with the same strength and resilience that had brought us this far. Our love was a journey, one that we were committed to for the long haul. And no matter what came our way, I knew that we would come out stronger on the other side.